Get ready for Hosts at Home. On today's show, the man who made the phrase "making whoopee" a household term. Aces high, deuces low. Bob Eubanks is on the show. And now, here's your host, who interviews the hosts, Adam Wurtzel.
Thank you, Richard Malmus. Hi, everybody. Welcome to this, the very first edition of Hosts at Home. The title says it all. Each week, we're talking to a different host from the comfort of their very own home. And to kick it off, I could not think of a better way than this. You know, when you think of iconic game show hosts, this man makes the short list every single time. I have the honor of co-hosting the live stage game show, Hollywood's Greatest Game Shows, with this man across the U.S. and Canada. But more importantly, I have the honor of calling him a dear friend. Bob Eubanks, welcome to Hosts at Home.
What a great idea you have. As usual, you're a game show junkie, you know that?
I've been told that by you several times, but it's better than being a real junkie.
When you're with your wife, let's say at night, do you ever say it's time for our 25-point bonus question?
Actually, last night we had quite the bonus question, but that's another story. You know, we're all at home. What else is there to do?
Tell me about it.
Tell everybody, where is home for you?
Well, I live in Southern California in a town called Thousand Oaks, and we've been here for a long, long time. We love it here. You know, as you know, Adam, we travel all over the country, and I honestly, I just love it here. It's so much fun to come home, and it's just a neat place.
What do you do when you're at home? Are you the cook of the house?
I don't cook. I clean. I can't boil water, but I'm the cleaner. So my son Noah and my wife, they cook up a storm, and then they walk away, and then I do the dishes and clean up everything. But you know, we all have our positive points, and that's mine. But I can't cook.
You mentioned, of course, your wife, your son. We cannot forget about Lucky. Love that dog. You have this cute little Chihuahua. Tell everybody about Lucky.
She's a Chihuahua and a King Charles Spaniel mix. I don't know where she is. I could have had her here. But, you know, when we hold hands and say grace, she'll put her paw on our hands. Lucky sleeps with my son. She follows my wife around all day. And when she wants to go poo, she comes to me to let her outside.
She knows what she's doing.
Yeah.
9-time Emmy Award winner, the star of Hollywood's Greatest Game Shows, Bob Eubanks! You've blessed me with this amazing job co-hosting Hollywood's Greatest Game Shows with you.
And let me say, you do a great job, man. You really do, man.
Thank you. Well, I learn from the best, as they say.
Oh, you mean Jim Lane?
Yes. No, Chuck Woolery.
Chuck Woolery, right.
9 games, over 40 contestants picked out of the audience, and then every show, someone has a chance to win $1 million. How did you come up with this incredible idea?
Nobody's going to hire me to do a television game show anymore. I'm too old for that. So I decided, because I had so much fun doing it, we decided to put together a live show. And what we found is that gamblers love game shows. So as you know, we play a lot of casinos throughout the country. And it's just so much fun. And so we've taken all of the shows, as you know, Newlywed Game, Card Sharks, Name That Tune, all of them, and we put them together, and it's fun. And like you say, we use 42 contestants every show. And at the end of the show, someone has a chance to win $1 million. And we pray that they would win it. It would be the best thing that ever happened for us. We buy insurance on it, and so we want them to win the $1 million.
And of course, you mentioned the Newlywed Game, arguably, I would say, probably the most famous game show you hosted. But before that show premiered in 1966, you were like the go-to disc jockey in Los Angeles. You're bringing the Beatles to the Hollywood Bowl. How does that disc jockey become the host of the Newlywed Game?
The way it happened was after the Beatles in 66, I was pretty tired of the concert business at that time. And so a couple of guys by the name of Nicholson and Muir went out to lunch. And they wrote on a napkin, husbands predict wives, wives predict husbands. And they gave that to ABC. ABC gave it to Chuck Barris, who had the dating game on the show at the time. And he developed the show. And then back then, to find game show hosts, they went to disc jockeys. Later on, they went to weathermen. Sajak and Letterman were weathermen. And today it's actors, as you probably know. But every disc jockey in town auditioned, and I got lucky enough to win that audition. God only knows how. But we had to show it to the network guys, and they flew out from New York, and they were sitting in this theater. We had lights, but no camera, and microphones. And I had 4 couples on the stage. And couple number 1 was an unknown comedian named Dom Deluise and his wife, Carol. But what really did it, what really sold the show was there was a cute blonde down at the end. And I said, "What's your favorite nickname for your husband?" And she said, "Numbnuts." And the ABC boys got up and went upstairs, and they bought the show without a pilot.
What is your wife's favorite nickname for you, Bob?
Old.
Who came up with the term making whoopee? How did that all come about?
That happened because they wanted me to say make love. And in '66, the soap operas, and they were all using the term make love. But I just didn't feel that you should have to explain that to your children until you were ready to do so. And what happened was I was with my daughter, and she was, 10, 11 years old. And we're driving down the freeway, and we have a radio station on. And the guy said he gets horny when it rains. And my little girl said, "What does horny mean, Daddy?" It made me so mad, I can't even tell you. So anyway, I wouldn't say make love. Now, Sinatra had a hit record called Making Whoopee. And so Whoopee could have been anything.
Chuck Barris very famously produced the Newlywed Game along with the Dating Game and several others, hosted his own show, The Gong Show. When you look at Chuck, you can just tell this is a wacky guy. What was it like working with Chuck Barris?
He was great. And all of the years, first of all, he had this thing with his company, and they would rate shows, and he was always prejudiced to the Dating Game. But when the Gong Show came along, the ABC boys came in and they saw it and everything, and they were talking about, I think, Gary Owens hosting it. And as the ABC guys left, they said, "You call Gary Owens." And they left. And Chuck turned to his friend and he says, "Don't even call Gary Owens. I'm going to host it." And he did. And he was great with it. But he was very fair and extremely fun to work with.
You hosted many other game shows as well, including, which was first besides Newlywed Game, a show called The Diamond Head Game. Shot on location in Hawaii. Did you find it challenging to do a complete 180 and host a completely different style of game show?
It was challenging, all right. The Diamond Head Game. We shot 56 shows in 8 days, and it was a toughie. That's all I can tell you, a real toughie. But my other favorite show, or beside Newlywed Game, was Card Sharks. And I did Card Sharks for 5 years. Jim Perry did it over at NBC. And then I did it for Mark Goodson for 5 years, and I loved Card Sharks. It was fun.
As you know, the reruns are still airing to this day. You really just look like you're just having a good time.
Oh, I was. It was one of those shows where I could have fun with the contestants and then play the cards. And so, if the contestants weren't funny, I could make the cards exciting. And it was a perfect show for me. I really, really enjoyed Card Sharks. And Lacey Pemberton, the brunette model on the show, she is the one now, and has for several years, who chooses all of the contestants on The Bachelor and The Bachelorette.
Card Sharks, as most game show fans will know, that show taped on the iconic Stage 33 at Television City in Hollywood. Of course, The Price is Right taped there, the $25,000 Pyramid taped there. Did you ever run into other hosts while you were working?
No, but I ticked them off. I shared a room with a dressing room with Bob Barker. When he was there, I wasn't, and vice versa. And up on the wall was this elaborate thing that said WGMC. It's a carved wooden thing. And I kept looking at it. And so just because I was such a rascal, I took the thing off and I put it under the couch. And I'm out at the ranch, and we had a ranch and we were roping cattle at the time and such. I get an emergency phone call from Jonathan Goodson, the producer. And he said, "Where's Barker's sign?" I said, "What sign?" He said, "Don't mess with me, man. Where's his sign?" I said, "Oh, for crying out loud, it's under the couch." He said, well, he won't go on until we find it. He wouldn't go on camera until they found the sign. And I said, what does WGMC mean? And he said, world's greatest MC.
That's a very unique story that you'll always remember.
I stole the star off Alan Lutton's dressing room, and he wouldn't go on until they found the star.
You were that guy, Bob. That's why everybody loves you. You have that personality.
Yeah, well, I was doing a show. I forget what show it was. I didn't forget the host. But I asked the host, I said, how much do you make? And he just froze. Peter Marshall. He just froze.
You know, this day and age, you see a lot of, when you watch end credits, you see a lot of hosts are also producing. They have an executive producer credit. You did that with a show called All-Star Secrets. And then you did that with a show, The Guinness Game, amongst others. You had your own production company. Do you think you were producing and hosting game shows before it was cool?
I had a partner named Michael Hill, and Michael was really a good producer.
And of course, game shows are being rebooted like crazy these days. You guys rebooted You Bet Your Life.
Oh, that was a terrible one. I mean, that was a difficult one, because the problem with comedians is that they can't stand to let anybody else be funny. And we had a lady on the show that could whistle and hum the same tune in harmony at the same time. And Hackett brought her to tears. It was just very difficult, but he was interesting to work with, to say the least.
Speaking of difficult, and you're a pro, you can host anything. You could host the phone book. Was there ever a show that you hosted that you wished maybe would have been done differently, that maybe you went home at night and said, there's something with this format, I'm just not a fan?
I think Diamond Head Game, we had to show the network the Diamond Head Game, and we were in an office with wooden islands, and I had to jump from island to island and all of that. And the Diamond Head Game was very difficult, because when we got over there, they didn't want us there, really. And it was a really a difficult show to do for me. I would have done it differently, but what are you going to do, From
something very difficult to something very easy, a very easy question, and that's your lovely wife, Deb. You've been married for a very long time. As they say, you are #couple goals. How did you two meet?
Deb was Miss Colorado, and she was top 5 Miss USA. And the Star Search people saw her, and she went on Star Search and won $100,000 on Star Search as spokesmodel. And I said, wow, that's a hot-looking chick. And as fate would have it, we did a charity event about a week later, and we met at that charity event, and just started from there. I was very lucky, and I am very lucky. I have a beautiful, wonderful wife. I have 4 great kids. My oldest son, Trace, as you know, travels with me, does all of my audio visual. My daughter, Teresa, runs a restaurant down in Orange County. And my son, Corey, is the #1 stunt driver in the industry. He does Too Fast, Too Furious, Transformers, all of those. And he started on Dukes of Hazzard. That's where he learned his craft. And then my 16-year-old son, Noah, who is a straight-A student and just a very bright, wonderful young man. So I am very blessed.
You mentioned Star Search. Of course, Star Search was the big talent competition show before there was an America's Got Talent.
Right.
Nowadays, especially on ABC, there are 7 game shows that have been rebooted and are currently on the air, of course, including the new version of Card Sharks with Joel McHale. Are you watching any game shows right now? Are there any ones in particular that
No, I haven't been watching any of them. I really haven't. Because I'm certainly not jealous of them. I understand why I'm not being called a host. And I will tell you this. I have some contemporaries that get very angry when they see other people hosting. And I have a theory in life that you just have to take what you know how to do and reinvent yourself. And that's what I've been able to do. And because of that, we have Hollywood's greatest game shows. And then I put together a show, a Beatles show called Backstage with the Beatles, of which I have a Beatle band on stage with me, and I tell never before heard stories that lead up to music.
That sound that you just heard means that we're running out of time. So Bob, it is time for the lightning round. This is very easy. Here's how this works. I'm going to say the name of a show that you hosted. All you have to do is tell me the first thing that comes to your mind. It could be anything. It could be a catchphrase, a blooper, something fun, a good memory from the show. There's no rules. Bob, are you ready?
I hope so.
All right, first show, Rhyme and Reason.
Fun time. Nipsey Russell was a kick in the pants.
Dream House.
We should have called it Dream Furniture because we took us so long to give a house away.
Infatuation.
I know somebody right now that was on Infatuation. In fact, they're very good friends of ours, and it was a fun show.
Powerball, the game show.
Powerball, that was a show I did with my wife, Deborah, and that was very exciting for me.
Powerball Express, and helping us out is the very lovely Debbie James. Deb? All right, Debbie, thank you, Deb. Deb has a check for $25,000. That's yours. You've just won $25,000.
If I've learned one thing about you from all the times that we've been together, and as our folks at home can see right now, you always like to be busy. You always like to be doing something. You've got the Beatles show. We've got Hollywood's Greatest Game Shows, and you have something very new. It's so cool. Tell everybody about this 60 and Up.
Thank you very much for that. Yeah, I was having mobility troubles. You know, I was in the rodeo business for many years, and I had both hips replaced and extensive back surgery. And I was having mobility issues, and a friend of mine named Dan Metcalf asked me to come over to his house to work out, and I did. And he invented the 60 Up balance board. I can only say this: if you're having balance issues, or if you know somebody that is, go to 60up.com. And it changed my life in 3 weeks. I swear to God, that's true. I couldn't play golf. I can now. I couldn't stand on one leg. I can now. My balance is fine now. And I was having real trouble. But it's very important because I want to help a lot of people. And 60up.com is where they need to go.
From the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for being on the very first Host at Home. It's an honor to work with you, an honor to have you as a friend.
Well, it's an honor to be your friend, too, because you do such a great job. And also, your wife, Carly, is a big PR lady in Nashville and just precious as she can be. Thanks, Adam.
Richard, who is on the show next week?
Next time on Hosts at Home, tell your friends, your family, and your giant inflatable bonuses. We welcome the man who swept the nation hosting Supermarket Sweep. David Ruprecht is on the show. Back to you, Adam.
Thanks, Richard. And remember, we have a new episode of Hosts at Home debuting every Friday. If you don't want to miss a minute, be sure to hit that subscribe button and give us some love. Now, on Hosts at Home, I'm not the one to sign off. So, Bob, thank you for being on the show. Bob Eubanks, take us out.
Thanks for watching. See you next time. And we've got a wonderful host on our next show.